what do okay. I would like to greet you all again at our readings of Bhagavad Gita, chapter by chapter. Uh, Today, we will continue reading of chapter 13. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna again. This chapter continues, in this chapter, Krishna continues to open further knowledge to Arjuna. And this chapter is about the chit nature. Chit is the knowledge nature, which is the nature of knowledge, which is beyond senses. And this chapter is also very philosophical and very important to understand for a seeker of spiritual progress and spiritual studies. So the chapter starts with Arjuna posing the following questions to Krishna. Oh, my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field, and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the object of knowledge, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Said, this body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field. Krishna replies to this inquiry of Arjuna, saying that the body, this material body, is called the field, and the one who knows the body is the knower of the field. So the body, in other words, is the field of activity of the conditioned soul. The conditioned soul is entrapped in the material existence because it wants to rule over the material nature, to dominate it, and thus to the extent of its desire to dominate this material nature, this living entity is given the field of activity, which is this body. So, and what is this body? The body is made of senses, and these senses are different capacities. Every living entity possesses different capacity for enjoyment. The senses are for enjoyment, yeah? And according to this capacity, the living entity is given an appropriate body. So therefore, Krishna calls here the body as the kshetra, the field of activity. And the person who is situated in this body is called the kshetrajna, the one who is knower of this field. However, this is easy to understand for us if we put some effort into it, because we all have this experience of the changing of our body. We are born and then undergo some growing process, and but the self, the identity, the personality that we feel does not change inside. So that indicates that the field or this body or the kshetra is not the same as the knower. The knower is a different entity altogether. Further on, Krishna tells Arjuna, O son of Bharata, you should understand that I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this, a body and its knower is called knowledge. This is my opinion. So here, Krishna distinguish, well, to understand this, we should distinguish these three areas of the study, the Lord, the living entity, and the matter. So the field of activity is in everybody. And the field, and everybody contains soul. But Krishna here indicates that he is also present in this field of activity or in this body. The meaning that there are two souls present in the body. One is the individual soul, or the living entity itself, and the other is the supreme or super soul or supreme personality of the Godhead. And this has been explained in previous chapters of the Bhagavad Gita as well. However, the knowledge and the of the field of the super soul and soul differs. The super soul is pervading everything in this material creation, while the living entity or individual soul does not have this capacity. It is confined in the body, material body that is given to him or her in, for this giving period of life. And now, please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, and whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activity is, and what his influences are. Here, Krishna is describing the field of activities and the knower of the field of activities and their constitutional positions. To know how this body is constituted is very important because this body is constituted of material elements, but these material elements, they are changing over time and causing some effects on the individual soul. However, there is a distinction between the individual living soul and the supreme soul, and their influences is different. The Supreme Soul is an observer. He is a permission giver, or but the living entity, the individual soul, although it is also present in this body, is the one who is trying to enjoy this material body or through this material body, and their potentials are quite different. The individual soul's potential is limited to this territory of, so to say, of the given body. The knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writing. It is especially presented in the Vedanta Sutra, which is all reasoning as to cause and effect. So here Krishna in Bhagavad Gita gives a rather brief description of this aspects to Arjuna, because Arjuna is already an educated person. And Krishna indicates that these specifics about this matter can be learned in Vedanta Sutra. However, if someone wants to go deeper into that knowledge, he should read Vedanta Sutra as well. However, Arjuna did not need that because he already was knowledgeable. Further, Krishna describes this field of activity as follows. Sorry. The five great elements: false ego, intelligence, the unmanifested, the 10 senses, and the mind. The five sense objects: desire, hatred, happiness, distress, the aggregate, the life symptoms, and convictions. All these are considered in summary to be the field of activities and its interactions. So here we see what this field of activity is comprising from. This concerns the material body, not the soul. So first there are 5 elements like earth, water, fire, air, and ether. Then there are also 5. There's also, these are called Mahabhuta, and there are also false ego, intelligence, and the manifested stage of the 3 modes of nature. Then there are the senses, which help us in acquiring the knowledge, like the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, and there are also 5 working senses that contain the voice, legs, hands, anus, and genitals. Above these 5 senses, there is mind, which is also a sense, and altogether there are 11 senses, if mind, including the mind. So there are also 5 objects of senses, which are smell, taste, form, touch, and sound. So this aggregate is making the 24 elements, made of the 24 element, is called this field of activity. If we start to analyze these 24 elements, we can understand this field of activity quite well. Then we also know that there are desire, hatred, happiness, and distress, which are the interactions that represent the 5 great elements in gross body. Then there are the living symptoms that are represented by consciousness, and convictions are the manifestation of the subtle body, and these are mind, ego, and intelligence. These are the subtle elements that are also included in within this field of activities, or this kshetra. So, however, body is kind of a representation of all these factors, and there are changes that occur in this body also, that are of 6 types. These changes are concerning the birth, the growth of the body, that its maintenance, then the bodies are producing byproducts, and then the bodies are beginning to decay, and then the final stage is that they vanish. So that indicates that this field of activities is not permanent. It is material. However, the one who knows the field, he is different. He has a different nature. Further, in the verses 8 to 12, Krishna explains to Arjuna how to overcome this bondage of the material body, and how to transcend it. He says further, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization and philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these are declared to be knowledge. And besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance. So here, Krishna already gives us very direct understanding of what he considers to be knowledge, and that everything that lies beyond that, he considers to be the ignorance. So, and actually, these are the way how to overcome the attachment, and this is how we should overcome the entanglement by these 24 elements that were described in previous chapters. Or so, and Krishna says that the knowledge is the path that helps us to overcome that entanglement. So it is necessary, but to acquire the knowledge, we need to go to approach a bona fide spiritual master, who will help us in this process. And actually here it is described the qualities that help us to overcome this attachment and this conditioning. Because a conditioned soul means that the individual soul's consciousness is covered, so he does not really understand properly himself or the Lord. He is fallen into ignorance. Though he is possessing all these qualities, being the part of the and the parcel of the Krishna himself, who is the source of all this qualities. So by addressing the spiritual master, we will be able to reveal these qualities in ourselves. So if we take that path and understand the value of service, and that can be done only through the devotional service. And if we understand the value of devotional service, then these other elements or other qualities will automatically unfold and develop within us. This is confirmed in different scriptures as well. Further, Krishna, Prabhupada opens up this verse to us by explaining what all these components of knowledge mean. Yeah? Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. This is very important. Without humility, we will not be able to accept knowledge. However, there are certain traps. If we, sorry, I have some cramps. I'm sorry. Sorry. ვერ გავიგე.
წყალი ხომ არ გჭირდებათ მეთქი ალბათ.
არა, ის არა უშავს გამილის ახლა. პირველმა დამიარა უბრალოდ. So humility is very important. With this material conception that we are conditioned with, make us seek this to receive honor from others. But that is, but a person of a perfect knowledge never does that. So for the advancement, it is very important that we have humility in order to be able to surrender to our spiritual master. Non-violence is also very important, but usually this non-violence is understood as not killing or destroying other bodies. However, non-violence means that we should not be causing distress to other living entities. And besides that, we should help elevate other people to spiritual knowledge. This is the true non-violence. Tolerance, it's also very important. The tolerance helps us to bear all these insults and dishonorment that we get from others, though we are, because we are in material nature, the souls are receive usually different placement, different positions, and those who seek knowledge, they should be also cultivating tolerance, because thus the tolerance gives the possibility to understand that we are all in the same position. Yeah. So if a person or if other individual souls are on a lower stage of development due to their conditioning, they might be disrespectful for us, but we should understand that they are also similar souls to us, and that knowledge will help us to tolerate insults. Simplicity is also very important, and it means that we should not utilize diplomacy as a means of interaction. We should be straightforwardly talking the truth. Cleanliness is essential, but there is for spiritual advancement. The cleanliness refers to inner uh, uh, um, inner state and external state, internal and external. Yeah, externally we take baths and wear clean clothes, but internally this cleanliness is obtained by chanting Hare Krishna mantra that cleanses our mind from all accumulated karma. Steadiness means that we are determined to make progress in the spiritual life. And all those, well, as Prabhupada explains to us, if we take to this path through the supervision of spiritual master, then all these qualities will unfold in us. Further, Krishna says, I shall now explain the knowledgeable, knowing which knowing which you will taste the eternal. Brahman, the spirit, beginningless and subordinate to me, lies beyond the cause and effect of this material world. Now, here Krishna begins to explain the knowable. That means the supreme soul, the super soul. The super soul is explained in the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita. And here it is Krishna further explains the position of this super soul. It confirms that he is eternal and that all other elements and everything is the manifestation of the super soul. Therefore, atmas or jivatmas are also beginningless. And this is also confirmed in Vedic literature. So the soul, which is the knower of the body, is never born and it never dies. And it is also full of knowledge because qualitatively he is one with the Supreme Lord, with the super soul. Everyone are his hands and legs, his eyes, heads, and faces, and he has ears everywhere. In this way, the super soul exists pervading everything. Here, the super soul is explained in more detail. Here, Krishna says that he, super soul, has hands, legs, eyes, heads, and faces, ears, all that we possess. We possess from as a copy from the super soul. Yeah, if he was not a personality, if he did not have hands, legs, eyes, and face, we would not be having the same. Yeah. However, there is a distinction between the super soul and the living entity and as individual living soul. Super soul is it penetrates everything. However, the individual soul is limited to the conditioned stage or the kshetra that he gets. in this material world. His influence um, goes only to that extent, while the super soul, he is pervading everything in moving and immovable, and every living entity is situated in every living entity. That is the biggest difference. The super soul is the original source of all senses, yet he is without senses. He is unattached, although he is the maintainer of all living beings. He transcends the modes of nature, and at the same time, he is the master of all modes of material nature. The super soul, though he is the origin of all senses, he does not have material senses like we do. Individual souls also have spiritual senses, but due to the conditioned stage, these senses are covered by material elements and cannot be exhibited through the matter. But the Supreme Lord senses or Super Soul senses are not covered. He is transcendental to the material nature. This is why he is called Nirguna. Yeah. But his senses are not exactly like ours. Our senses are limited. Oops. The supreme truth exists outside and inside of all living beings, the moving and the non-moving. Because he is subtle, he is beyond the power of the material senses to see or to know. Although far, far away, he is also not also near to us. This verse speaks about the um, omnipotence of Krishna. Here he says that he exists both outside and inside of all living beings, whether moving or unmoving. And because he is subtle, he is very subtle, and he is beyond the material senses. Material senses cannot see or know or understand him. Hence, we think though he is very far, always situated in his abode, through his omnipotence, he is also very near, very close to us, because he also is simultaneously situated in the hearts of all living entities and in every atom of this creation. Although the Supreme Soul appears to be divided among all beings, he is never divided. He is situated as one. Although he is the maintainer of every living entity, it is to be understood that he devours and develops all. So it is quite difficult to understand that since the super soul is situated in everyone's heart, then the material mind is prompting to us to understand him as divided. However, this is not the case. Though he is present in every living being, he is still the one. He is undivided. It can be compared to the sun, yeah? Like no matter where you stand in the daylight, the sun is always above you. though it is actually situated very far from the earth. Yeah, but we still can see. So, and here also, Krishna says that he is the maintainer of every living entity, but at the same time, he is the one who gives or develops all the living entities into this material world or reveals them. And when the time comes, he is the one who devours them. When annihilation phase comes, everything goes back into Krishna. So he thus is the killer of all. He is the source of light in the luminous objects. He is beyond the darkness of matter and is unmanifested. He is knowledge. He is the object of knowledge. He is the goal of knowledge. He is situated in everyone's heart. So Krishna here says that Supersoul is the source of light in all luminous objects like sun, the moon, stars, and but in material elements, um, here in material world, we cannot see this spiritual effulgence because um, um, this effulgence is covered by Mahatattva, by material elements. And because of that, we need the illumination that is arranged through sun or electricity or other means. However, in spiritual world, there is no need of such means because everything is illuminated there by the effulgence of Krishna himself. Krishna here says that he is like the sun, eternally luminous, and that he is far beyond the darkness of this material world. He is also the knowledge, and his knowledge is transcendental. Since he is situated in everyone's heart, he knows about everybody, and thus he is controlling through his heart every living entity through providing them with appropriate knowledge or covering their consciousness through material nature. Thus, the field of activities, the body, knowledge, and the knowable have been summarily described by me. Only my devotees can understand this thoroughly and thus attain my nature. So here Krishna very briefly explains, summarizes this knowledge to Arjuna. This knowledge is about the three things: the knower, the knowable, and the process of knowledge, knowing. Yeah. Um, And this is the science of how to attain this knowledge. But this perfect knowledge can be understood only by an unalloyed devotion or unalloyed devotee who can directly understand. Others are not capable to understand this, to comprehend this knowledge, because the material consciousness drives us away from Krishna. What means material consciousness? Material consciousness means that we are rioters. We want to enjoy um, our material world without Krishna. So that means that since this knowledge is transcendental and beyond the darkness of this material uh, existence, it's not accessible for the consciousness of conditioned soul because of the material covering. Material nature and the living entities should be understood to be beginningless. Their transformation and the modes of matter are products of material nature. Further, Krishna explains to Arjuna that this material nature uh, uh, and the living entities are also beginningless, yeah, that they always existed and exist. Um, the material nature and living entities are eternal. They existed before creation, but they were manifested through the Krishna's energy. Uh, and actually, this happens that in the following way. Wait a second. Yeah, the material manifestation is formed by the uh, uh, inferior material nature being combined with the superior material nature in form of the individual living soul. And thus this material energy, material manifestation is created. However, that does not have any beginning. It goes through different phases of transformation. Um, uh, Nature is said to be the cause of all material causes and effects, whereas the living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyments in this world. So different manifestations of bodies and senses among living entities are due to material nature. We know that there are 8,400,000 different species of life, and they arise from uh, different sensual pleasures that the living entity is enjoying. Uh, and so these desires that the living entity possesses. Yeah, so these desires determine what type of a material body this living entity will be put into. So that is how the material nature uh, causes all material causes and effects, while the living entity that enters into this body, it then becomes the cause of various of different uh, sufferings or enjoyments because of the sense gratification that it goes through. The living entity is the cause of what kind of the body he will obtain in this material world. However, once it enters the body, it falls under control of the material nature and acts according to the body that he receives, following the laws of this material nature. So that is how we exist here. The living entity in material nature thus follows the ways of life, enjoying the three modes of nature. This is due to his association with that material nature. Thus, he meets with good and evil among various species. So we know that we've been taught that living entities, they transmigrate from one body to another. And this happens due to the desire of the living entity to control and to become the lord of the nature of this material nature. And because of this desire, the soul can obtain different forms. It might be born sometimes as demigod, sometimes as man, sometimes as beast, a bird. So it can take any form of this available from that 8,400,000. And then by this accepting the body, then the living entity starts to think himself as a matter, and thus becomes completely influenced by material nature. So this interaction with material modes of nature conditions him to a different degrees. However, we have to rise above that and to become transcendental, to attain that transcendental position. And this is possible only through Krishna consciousness, through the process of Krishna practicing, the process of devotional service. Only that can help us to overcome and to change this situation. And this can be achieved by hearing from authoritative sources like bona fide spiritual master. Similarly, like here we see in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna is receiving this knowledge and hearing this science from Krishna himself. So yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. So this is straightforward. Krishna says that here that the Atma is situated in this body, but also in this body there is a Paramatma, the supreme soul, who is the proprietor of everything that exists. Yeah, and supreme soul is though it is situated together with the individual soul in the same body, he acts completely different. The individual soul is engaged in enjoying this material nature, like we've heard from scriptures that this is comparison, such a comparison that there are two birds on the tree. Yeah, one bird is consuming the fruits, and the other is observing. So the super soul is the observer, and the living entity, the individual soul, is that the enjoyer of the foods. And if a person, when a person through mm, devotional service attains the transcendental position, he places his faith in the Paramatma, the super soul, and thus the super soul from within his heart begins to advance this individual soul towards the eternal knowledge. One who understands the philosophy of concerning this philosophy concerning material nature, the living entity and the interactions of the modes of nature, is sure to attain liberation. He will not take birth here again, regardless his present position. So when as a living entity develops clear understanding of these matters of material nature, the super soul, the individual soul, and how they interact, it makes him eligible to liberation. And all that is actually obtainable only through the knowledge. The knowledge that the living entity has fallen into this material existence, but it's not its true nature. And his association with saintly people and a spiritual master helps him to attain this understanding and this position. Some perceive this super soul within themselves through meditations, others through cultivation of knowledge, and still others through working without fruitive desires. Here, Krishna once again explains how these living entities can perceive the super soul within themselves. Yeah, he even mentions that working without the desire of the fruit to enjoy the fruits of your acts is also a way. However, he also mentions that again there are those who, although not conversant in spiritual knowledge begin to worship the Supreme Person upon hearing about him from others, because their tendency to hear from authorities, they also transcend the path of birth and death. Here it means that actually the knowledge philosophy is not accessible to every living entity. Because the common man may be a very good soul, but cannot have the capacity to study that way. However, they are also not deprived of spiritual advancement, which they can reach by hearing, by listening preaching about Krishna consciousness, uh, and this was confirmed by Chaitanya, Lord Chaitanya, when he preached Krishna consciousness uh, through transcendental vibration of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. O chief of the Haradas, know that whatever you see is existence. In existence, both the moving and the non-moving is only a combination of field of activities and the knower of the field. So here Krishna says that whatever we can see around existing is the combination of living entity and comes out of this combination of living entity and the material nature. And we can see there are various manifestations of that, like the trees, mountains, which are immovable manifestations, and also different living entities. So without this combination of superior nature or the living entity, the inferior nature, the material nature, would not manifest anything, could not manifest anything, and will not um, grow or develop. So this is a relationship which exists, such is the relationship between material nature and spiritual nature. And this is eternally existing in that way. However, the Supreme Lord is overriding all that. He is the controller of all these, both of these natures, superior and inferior. This material nature is created by him, and all the living entities, activities, and manifestations take place through such combination. One who sees the super soul accompanying the individual soul in all bodies, and who understands that neither the soul nor the supreme super soul within the destructible body is ever destroyed, actually sees. Now Krishna further explains what does it mean to be actually seeing. What actually seeing it is means. This is unfolding the knowledge to a higher level. So the knowledge seeker can or combine all these things together. Yeah, the body, the proprietor of the body, or in other words, the individual soul, and the field of its activity, and the friend of this individual soul, or the best friend of this individual soul, being the super soul, is actually what the possessor of true knowledge. That knowledge comes through association. So, and the living entity who is capable of having this kind of understanding or is actually the seer. However, this is not limited just to that. Krishna further explains or what who the seer uh, is, how the proper seeing is done. One who sees the super soul equally present everywhere in every living being does not degrade himself by his mind. Thus, he approaches this transcendental destination. So, in this verse, Krishna indicates that the mind is actually the agent of destruction in this body. And if a person develops this vision of the super soul being equally present in in every living entity and in every thing that exists, mm, um, um, this his mind cannot degrade his mentality. He will not destruct his mentality. And then, due to that, he will be able to progress and advance in spiritual development and finally reach this transcendental destination. Because actually, usually mind is this impediment that entangles us also in this material existence. One who can see that all activities are performed by the body, which is created of material nature, and sees that the self does nothing, actually sees. Oh, here Krishna tells us that the material nature it actually is the doer in this material world. The body, the performance of this body is controlled by material nature, while the soul, which is situated in this material body, does nothing. So, if a person, through this association with saintly persons and scriptures develop such understanding, then he is also has a proper approach towards this existence, and he is actual seer. That's how Krishna qualifies him. When a sensible man ceases to see different identities due to different material bodies, and he sees how beings are expanded everywhere, he attains to the Brahman conception. So when one can see that various bodies of living entities arise due to the different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, is one who actually sees. In material conception of life, uh, uh, can present living entities in different forms, like demigods, human beings, dogs, cats, and so on. But this is a material vision. It's not an actual vision. This material differentiation is due to this concept, material concept or material vision of the life that we have. However, the spiritual soul is completely different. It no, no, is not one and identical to material body. And one who can see that there is no such a connection is can be said to have obtained or attained the spiritual vision, and is not differentiating according to the material appearances. Thus, he becomes purified in consciousness, and he is able to develop Krishna consciousness through such a spiritual identity. Those with the vision of eternity can see the imperishable soul is transcendental, eternal, and beyond the modes of nature. Despite contact with the material body, or Arjuna, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. Here it says that though apparently getting this birth of material body in the material body, actually the living entity is eternal because it is a spiritual soul, and it is transcendental and is beyond the material nature. Hence, the soul itself is not engaged in material activities. These activities are conducted due to its contact with the material nature, and thus the soul is not getting entangled. The sky, due to its subtle nature, does not mix with anything, although it is all pervading. Similarly, the soul, situated in Brahman vision, does not mix with the body, though situated in the body. Here, Krishna himself provides an illustration how we should understand this. The air, the sky, the air, it penetrates everything, actually. It is present in water, in mud, in everything. Mixes with everything in this material nature. And similarly to this, the living entity is situated in different bodies, but is actually because it's of a subtle nature, it stands aloof of that body. The material eyes does not provide us the capacity to see that, however. But through acquiring this science of knowledge, we can understand that. O son of Bharata, as the sun alone illuminates all this universe, so does the living entity, one within the body, illuminate the entire body by consciousness. Oh, here also is a very good analogy provided here. The sun illuminates the entire universe. And similarly to the sun, the small spiritual, the soul, the particle, which is situated within the body, in the heart of living entity, it illuminates the entire body with consciousness. It kind of provides consciousness to the entire body. Oops. Those who see with eyes of knowledge the difference between the body and the knower of the body, and can also understand the process of liberation from bondage in this in material world, attain to the supreme goal. So here, Krishna concludes this conversation with saying that, well, in this chapter, actually, Krishna provides a distinction between the body and the owner of the body and the super soul. In these verses, in previous verses, from the 1 to 12, he describes the process of liberation from this attachment, and further on, he describes that how actually, sorry. So when one reaches that level of knowledge or this such a vision that he starts to distinguish between the body and the knower and the body, and understands this process of liberation, he can definitely attain the supreme goal, or in other words, go back to Krishna and thus fulfill his quest for spiritual development. So, well, that is the end of the chapter 13. So, okay, thank you very much. I think we've took more time than needed, than assigned to this reading, and let us continue reading on Thursday. Thank you very much for being present. Hare Krishna. Have a nice evening, everybody.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
This was one of the complex
Yeah,
topic.
it was quite, it is quite philosophical. This chapter is very philosophical. It explains such matters that are not easy to comprehend. That's why we need the assistance of spiritual master in obtaining such a knowledge. But reading through that, understanding or not, reading this will gradually cleanse our consciousness to the level when we Krishna from inside of our hearts as Paramatma will open up the coverings, and we will have access to this knowledge that every spiritual soul possesses by its spiritual nature. So let us continue reading that, irrespective of our level of understanding. Yeah, finally, this understanding will arrive by Krishna's mercy and by mercy of the spiritual master. This is why it is very important to serve spiritual master, and in order to satisfy him, so he bestows such mercy on us. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Have a nice evening.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Goodbye.
you, Kalindi Mataji. Thank you, Krisha Mataji.
არის მის ხმა, შეგვიძლია გამოვთოთ უკვე შენ ხმა არის მის